So, hello everyone, good evening to all, and welcome to StudyIQ platforms, to StudyIQ YouTube platforms. Right. So, in this lesson, we will learn about the mountain system of India and the rest of world, the mountain system, because this is also one of the part that where the questions frequently they ask or the civil service examination. So, in this lesson we will learn about right. So this would be the lesson that where we will cover that the mountains of India. This would be the lesson where we will covers all the mountains of India, including your northeastern region, including your Himalayan region, including your southern part, including your central part of India. So this region we will cover. Apart from that, we will also cover the mountains of the world as well, so that in a single video we will have the mountains of India and the mountains of world. We will cover both the part. Okay, so let's see, then let's go through the session. Okay, so this would be there. Good evening everyone, those who are watching me, right? Good evening to all. So let's begin. So the first one I will go through, that is the Trans-Himalayan. So the first one we will go through, that is the what? Trans-Himalayan. See, the Trans-Himalayan, as Indian subcontinent, that means we are having so much of mountains, so much of hills, and each year there is a tendency that UPSC or the civil service examination across the India, that does not means only UPSC, let's say the state PCS, they are also asking some questions, at least one question you will have from the mountains, and other examination as well, you will have the what there, you will have the mountain related questions that will be there. Okay, so let's see then, just a minute. Right, yes. So first we will cover the Himalayan part. I will cover the Himalayan part. In the Himalayan part, so this one you can see the Karakoram range. The first one is the Karakoram range, then Ladakh range, then Jaskar range. So these three together called as the Trans Himalaya. These three together called as the what? Trans Himalaya. The Trans Himalaya, why? Because they are having a different system, right? They are having a different system. ये पूरा अलग ही system, अलग सा system है. And then we will have the Himalayan system, right? So these three, that is Karakoram, Ladakh and Jaskar, they will comes under the Trans-Himalayan system, and in this region the highest peak is the K2 over the Karakoram. In this region the highest peak is the what? K2 over the Karakoram range is there. Good evening and warm welcomes to the to all of you to this session, right? So these are the, that means I will say that these are the mountains. They all basically they origins from the Khaskari is Karakoram origin from the Pamir knot. Pamir knot, which is believed that this is the region from where the mountains origin. Let it Karakoram, let it Kunlunsa, let it Hindkush mountains. So this is the knot. That means the place where like एक रस्सी को जैसे कि हम मतलब गांठ दे देते हैं ना, तो वैसे ही it's like a, this is also called as the roof of the earth, the Pamir knot, from where all the mountains are spreads all the way, right? Karakoram, so we will have, these are the fold mountains. These mountain knots, they are what? They are basically the fold mountains. They are basically fold mountains, and they are older than the Himalayan system. They are older than the Himalayan system, and these regions are basically, I would say, it's what? Tundra type of climates, and the that is why the harsh climatic condition is the Siachen glacier. This is also over the Karakoram range, right? This is here Indrakul. If somebody will ask you, Indrakul also here in the Karakoram range. So highest peak is K2. That is what? Highest peak with the K2. So this region is important. Then apart from that, you will have Ladakh range, right? The Ladakh range also important range. Why? Because Ladakh range that runs all the way from the Jammu and Kashmir to the western Tibet, to the what western Tibet with its highest peak, that is the Mount Kailas. It is highest peak is the what Mount Kailas. So that is why the Mount Kailas highest peak, that is 7,600 meter. So that is also important part, and the holiest part for the what Tibet, for the Buddhism, for the Hinduism, for the other religion as well. So that is why this mountain, that Kailas range, is very important range as well. So that is what I would say the mountains, that is the Kailas peak, Mount Kailas. It is believes that what the Lord Shiva resides there, and that is the what I would say the it's a what it's a religious place as well. And Mansarbar Jatra also happens here. Here is the Kailas range. Close to the Kailas range, there is Mansarbar Lake, which is also important in the Hinduism and Buddhism religion. So these are also the cultural spot, I would say. These are the what cultural spot and the tourism spot as well. So next we will come to, apart from the Karakoram, we will come to Ladakh. Then we will come to the Jaskar range. This Jaskar range is important because there is a question they ask, the Kashmir Valley, that means I would say the Srinagar. The beautiful Srinagar is situated between which two mountain range? That would be your what? It would be a Jaskar, and that would be your what? I would say that would be the middle Himalaya here. That is called as the Pirpanjal. That is what? Pirpanjal. So two, that is Pirpanjal, I would say Pirpanjal and Jaskar. So in between there is the Srinagar Valley. So Srinagar Valley is in between, right? So this is you have to remember. Then we will have the Greater Himalaya, right? The Greater Himalaya is here. Here is the what? Syntaxial bend of the Greater Himalaya, and here is also the syntaxial bend also in this side as the Nanga Parbat. From this Nanga Parbat there is also syntaxial bend. There is also syntaxial bend. On the both side there is also syntaxial bend. It's like the syntaxial bend. The both side of the Himalaya. This side is like your what I would say salt range is there. There is Sulema range, there is Kirthar range, there is what? Salt range, Kirthar range, Suleiman range. These are the past of the western part of what? Western syntaxial bend. But when we come to the eastern syntaxial bend, it would be Patkai Booms, Naga Hill, Mani Hill, Mijo Hill, there is Naga, there is Patkai Boom, there is what? It would be like, so Miss Me also there. So these are the range are also there. These are the part of your Purbanchal hill, sorry, or we call it it's the syntaxial bend, or we do call it the syntaxial bend. So that is why this would be the part, the syntaxial bend. Then we will have the Greater Himalaya. All the way we will have the Greater Himalaya like this. Then we will have the Middle Himalaya, and then we will have the Shivalik range, the Outer Himalaya. See, one by one we will go, right? The Greater Himalaya, all these are what? All these Greater Himalaya, Middle Himalaya, Shivaliks, all are the fold mountain. All are what? Simple the fold mountains. They are fold mountains. Apart from that, these mountains are young fold mountain. They are what? Young fold mountain. They are young, or they are also called as the Alps. They are also called as the what? Alps, the Himalayan Alps. That means the young mountains. They are the what? Himalayan Alps. The Himalaya also called as the Himalayan Alps. These mountains formed during the time of tertiary period. That is what? Tertiary period. So they formed during the tertiary period by folding what? That is the Tethys Sea. By folding what? That is your Tethys Sea. The Tethys Sea was folded because of the compressive force. Because of the what? Compressive force, as the Indian plate was moving, still moving also, right, towards the north and northeastern direction, and having what? That it would be compressing those mackerel, those sediments, those I would say what? Or lithogen or orogen, you may say, that would be folded into form of the mountain, into the form of mountain, that would be fold mountains, right? They are the parallels to each one. These mountains are what? Parallel mountain. These mountains are what? Parallel mountains, and having running what? 2,400 kilometer came from the what? It would be, I would say, let's say if you are talking the northwest, from the northwest to this particular point, that is the what? It's the northeast. So this would be the orientation of the Himalaya will be divided into the, this is the western Himalayan part, this is your central Himalayan part, this would be your eastern Himalayan part, right? So Himalaya is rightly divided. So the Himalaya is rightly divided into three parts. The eastern Himalaya, which starts from the river Tista, that would be, I would say, then Sikkim to Arunachal Pradesh. So this part, that would be your eastern Himalaya part. But when it comes to the central Himalaya, that would be from the Tista to Kali river. In the what India and Nepal border, here is the Kali river, there is the Lipu lake is there, or the Lipu pass is there, right. So from this here, so this that means I would say the complete Nepal is coming under the central Himalaya part. Then from the Kali river, that is the Uttarakhand and I would say India border, or sorry, Nepal border, from here to the all the way for the Nanga Parvat, to the what Nanga Parvat in the westernmost part. So this part is what, this part is the western Himalaya. So this would be central and the eastern part. So these are the parts of the Himalaya, how the Himalaya is been divided, right. This is how we have divided the Himalaya. Now when it comes to the Himalaya, that this is the what division of the Himalaya. But other facts is that you need to know is that what I would say, particularly this western section is running from the northwest. See, from the northwest to the, I would say, southeast, to the what southeast. But from here to here, it would be, you may say, that west and east running. This is east, west, east running. From here, it would be what I would say southwest, and all the comes to the all the way to the what northeast, all the way to the northeast. So this is how the division and the orientation of the mountain, and the what orientation of the mountain. So the orientation of the mountain is lies like this. So this is the orientation of the mountain, and these mountains is the what tallest mountains in the world. But this is not the longest mountain in the world. Andes is the longest mountain in the world, but this one is the tallest mountain in the world, with average height of the greater Himalaya is 6,100 meter from the mean sea level. So this is the what tallest, with more than 8,600, 700, 800 meters like that, 800, 8,000, 8,848, and sometimes people do also claim that it's a 52 meters. That means 8,852 meters height of the Mount Everest, which is in Nepal region. So that is also the point, and that is also, I would say, what the tallest mountains in the world. So all the tallest mountains are situated in the Himalayan range, starting from Karakoram to all the way to the Namcha Parva in the what Arunachal Pradesh. So these mountains are what very important mountains. So that is why one need to know that. Now apart from that, what we should also know, so this Himalaya is what partially because of the plate tectonic. You may say this is geosyncline theory. You can add into the geosyncline theory into this part. You can also add the plate tectonic as well to this formation of the Himalaya. Let's say somebody will talk about, somebody will say, sir, these mountains are formed due to the what plate tectonic. Yes, this is also correct. Let's say some other peoples, they are advocating by saying, so the writing in the mains, that this is also due to the geosynclines. This is also what geosynclines. That geosynclines also passes through the three stages, that Kober geosynclines theory. If somebody has gone through that one, then that is also the, that means I would say the materials or the Tethys Sea, right? The Tethys Sea is folded to form the mountain. That is what the Tethys Sea is folded to form the mountain. So that is also one of the part. So that part also importance, right? That is also important part. So this is how this Himalayan region, right? Apart from that, when it comes to the Himalayan region, we will have number of what? That is the number of passes also there, number of important peaks also there. Now I will come to the important peaks of the Himalayan region. The important peaks, then I will come also to the passes, then we will end, right? So first, let's say go through the passes. Now what are the important passes? See, the important passes starting all the way from here is the Dipu Pass. Here would be your Dipu Pass. Then let's say in this particular region, there is your Sila Pass. There is your what? Sila Pass. That is Dipu Pass, Dipar Pass. These passes are also there in the Arunachal Pradesh. Then when it comes to the what Sikkim region, we will have the two passes, that Nathula and Jelepla. Nathula. So we are discussing from the prelim perspective view, right? Jelepla also there. Then as we come to the Uttarakhand, in this particular region, we will have that is what? Lipula, Nitila, Manala. So these are the passes. La means passes. So these are all in Uttarakhand, right? These are all in Uttarakhand. Now apart from that, when it comes to Himachal Pradesh, there is also number of passes in this region. There is also number of passes like your Sipkila, right here. What Sipkila also there, so that is also important pass, right? Then we comes to the what, all the way to the Ladakh region. There would be Imisla, there would be Changla, there would be Khadungla, right? So these are the important passes also there, right, in the Himachal Pradesh. Apart from Sipskala, there is what, there is also Rohtang Pass also there, right? Rohtang Pass, Sipkila Pass, Khadungla Pass, Imisla Pass, Changla Pass in the Ladakh region, right? So these are the passes. Then when we comes to the JNK region, there would be also important passes like Banihal Pass, Jojila Pass, right? Jojila Pass, Banihal Pass, right? These are the important pass also there. Then there would be also other passes are also small passes, but number of passes also there. But as we have discussed, so these are the some important pass in the Himalayan region, right? Pensila Pass also there. So number of passes there. So these are the what passes we have discussed in the Himalayan region. Then apart from that, in the Himalayan region, what question they ask? They also ask you like MBT, right? Thrust, main boundary thrust, central boundary thrust, frontal boundary thrust, right? These are the thrusts are also there in the Himalayan region, right? That central is comes between Greater Himalaya and Middle Himalaya, then Middle Himalaya, Sivalik, then Sivalik, Gangetics. So this is how they have combined themselves. That means the frontal boundary fault, that would be Sivalik and Gangetic, then Middle Himalaya, Sivalik, that is main boundary fault, and the central thrust, these are what thrust, would be Greater Himalaya and the Middle Himalaya. So these thrusts are also important. Apart from that, we will have that is Indo-Tibetan suture zone, which separates this whole range, that is the what I would say the Karakoram, Zaskar, Ladakh, and Greater Himalaya, Middle Himalaya, Sivalik. So these two ranges are separated through the Indo-Tibetan suture zone. So that is also important. You can also do that, right? So this thing would be done there as well. So these are also important, correct? So these are the thrust zone also there, which is responsible for the earthquake in this region. So whenever we are writing the earthquake questions, let's say in the mains, you have to mention these thrust lines, because these are the thrust lines which is responsible for the release of energy, for the what, release of energy, for the friction point, for the what, friction point in the Himalayan region. So these boundaries are also important, right? So this is how the Himalaya we have done it. Good evening, Lina, right? So so this is how we have done the Himalayan region. Now when it comes to the, I would say here what, that Purbanchal range, right? In this region we will have the certain parts also there. Here is also certain parts, here is the certain parts, I mean what other region, right? So what other region? In this region, I would say you would have like in the Arunachal Pradesh. In the Arunachal Pradesh, there is also importance. Mountains are, some of the important mountains are there. They are like, for examples, I would say Dafla. I would say Dafla, Miri, Avor, Mismi. So these are the mountains are, they are also part, and right here, because here the Sivalik's presence is pretty narrow. The Sivalik presence is pretty narrow, as there is because of the more compressional effect. So this then apart from that, you will have Patkai Boom also there. So these are also there. Then we will have Naga Hill. Then we will have that is Mani Hill. We'll have Mijo. We will have Garo, Khasi, Zantia. We will have that is Barel range. We will have Barel range, right? So these are the ranges also there. Bareil range also there in the Assam. Garo Khasi Jayanti also there. The Garo Nokrek is the highest peak of the Garo Nokrek, and Khasi, that is the Silang peak. So these are also important there. Then Dafla, Miri, Mismi, Avhor, Patkaibom, these are in Arunachal Pradesh. Naga Hill also there. Mani, Mijo, these are the hills also there. This is also called as the Blue Mountains, sometimes in the Mijo Hill also called as the Blue Mountains. So these are the mountains in the northeast region we have covered. They are together called as the Purbanchal system. But one thing you have to remember, this Garo Khasi Jayantia, they are not part of the Himalayan system. They are the part of the peninsular system. They have been divided through the Malda Gap. This is what Malda Gap. This is the Malda Gap through which the Ganga river is coming and the Brahmaputra river is coming. This Malda Gap has separated the what I would say Meghalaya once used to be the part of the peninsula. I mean this Garo, and here is your what that is Rajmahal range, Rajmahal hill. So Garo hill, here would be Rajmahal hill, here is Garo hill. In between the gap is that is the, I would say the this is called as the Malda Gap. This is also Rajmahal Gap or the Malda Gap. So this one is very important, right? This one is your very important from the exam point of view, I would say, because in this part sometimes they ask the questions, right? The question comes from this part. So this is how the Purbanchal, all this region. Then we will comes to Aravalli, right? So in this part we have done it. If they will ask you, okay, what kind of natural vegetations are found in the Himalayan region, starting from evergreen, semi-evergreen, moist deciduous, dry deciduous, and mountain forest, temperate forest, all types of forest almost found, and one of the highest diversity of the natural forest you will have in this region, right? That is also right. Good evening, Lina, and good evening to all those who are watching me. So this is also important. So natural vegetation is an important part of this mountain system. You have to also learn that one, because they will ask you what kind of forest is found in the Himalayan region, or let's say the eastern Himalaya, which is part of the hotspot, right? Sunda land also here in the hotspot. Here is Indo-Burma land, that is also the part of the hotspots, because we are having 4 hotspots, and this eastern Himalaya and the Purbanchal region is what highly diverse ecosystem, and there is biodiversity because of the reason. The reason is what the biodiversity hotspot region, having number of biosphere and the national parks as well. So this is also very important, you have to remember in this Purbanchal Himalayan part, right? Now comes to the Himalayan, if other questions they will ask you, right? For example, whether the height of Himalaya is increasing. Sorry, yes, the height of Himalaya is increasing. If somebody will ask you, whether the height of Himalaya is increasing, yes, increasing. Yes, increasing. Why? Whether because of plate tectonic? No, it's because of onloading effect. It's because of what? Onloading effect. Because of buoyancy force. Because of what? Onloading effect. Because of buoyancy force. So that is why, because of balancing. That means I would say better to say that is isostatic balance. So better to say, I would say isostatic changes. So due to the isostatic changes, due to the buoyancy force, the height of Himalaya is still increasing. This is not due to the plate tectonic. This is not due to the intrusive volcanic eruption, right? Himalayan height is increasing because of onloading effect, as I said, because of what? It would be, as I mentioned, that isostatic balance. So isostatic balance is also adjusting, Himalaya also adjusting. Next, if somebody will ask you, let's say, just comment me whether Himalaya, which type of rock is dominating the Himalaya, whether it's a primary rock, whether it is a secondary rock, whether it is the tertiary rock, which rock is dominating the Himalayan system, right? Which rock is dominating the Himalayan system? You can also comment me, right? So that would be, I would say, the tertiary rock. I would say what? The tertiary rock, because as if the Himalaya is made out of the Tethys Sea, that means all the sediments, they were compressed together, and the sediments used to be the secondary rock. They were used to be the what? Secondary rock. I means they're the sedimentary rocks. If they were sedimentary rocks and it would be compressed, then that will be turned into the metamorphized form, that will be converted into the metamorphized form, and that is why we do call it the tertiary rock, and the Himalaya is dominating on that factor. But you will have sedimentary rocks. I am not saying that there is no sedimentary rocks, there is no igneous rock, all the rocks are there, right? All the rocks, particularly your greater Himalaya. Your greater Himalaya will have more metamorphized rock as compared to the race to Himalayan ranges. Okay, so that one you have to also understand. Then the Himalayan system, we will have this kind of the questions. The questions, this much of question, I think this would be enough to do the questions of the Himalayan region. But one thing, if they will ask you, why this portion, let's say, why landslide is so prone in this region? Now, why landslide is so prone in this region? The eastern Himalaya. Let's say I will ask a certain questions to you. Why landslide is so much of there is so much of landslides in the eastern Himalaya, or let's say in the Himalayan region, like the UPSC has asked twice or thrice about the mains. In the mains, they have asked, okay, why, what is the difference between the landslide of Western Ghat, particularly in the Venad districts? You might have seen that news, right? Or in this region. Then what is the region? The reason being that is the thrust line. There is the thrust line. Number of thrust lines are there. As I said, MBT is there. There is CBT is there. There is FBT also there. These are what? Thrust lines in the Himalayan region. These thrust lines are causing the earthquake in this region. If the region will be prone to the earthquake, obviously that will cause the what? Landslides. That will cause the landslides. And that is why this is the reason. Apart from that, you will have the human activities, anthropogenic factor, that I will call it, that is what? Anthropogeomorphology. I will call the word the anthropogeomorphology. That is the reason that in this region also one of the factor. The anthropogeomorphology, that was the reason for the Kerala landslide. That was the reason for the, I would say, the landslide all the way in the Himachal Pradesh, all the way in the that is Uttarakhand region, that has experienced and also experiencing landslide here and there during the monsoon time. So that would be region. So that is why you will also see that anthropoclimatology. Anthropoclimatology. When I pronounce the word like anthropogeomorphology, I would say what that is your climatology. I means the anthropogenic effect on climate, anthropogenic effect on physical morphology, how it's hastening, how it's speeding the effect. Let's say, see, the landslide would have happened there in the Kerala, that Kerala region, the landslide that took place in the Venad region. That time I said that the landslide would have happened in the Kerala region or the Venad region. But point to be noted, वो जो landslide हुआ है ना, right, वो 5 साल बाद होता, 10 साल बाद होता, but because of the human factor, because of the anthropogenic factors, वो अभी हो गया. और उसका जो intensity naturally अगर होता ना, अगर nature would be the sole cause, तो intensity कम हो जाता. But as the human has induced it, there is a catastrophe. It becomes the catastrophe. It becomes so harsh. Thank you, Lena. Thank you for your comment. So it would become so harsh, and that is why I am talking this region, the morphology, the system Himalaya. You need to know, right? You need to know about the system of the Himalaya. So I have covered the ranges. Apart from that, you see the Himalayan region also geopolitical tension. The nuclear triad is there. So there is a term you call the nuclear trilemma. You might have heard in the news that nuclear trilemma. So this is the place, that nuclear trilemma. This is the place, the nuclear, I would say, trilemma. This is not triad. Correct me. This is not nuclear triad. This is nuclear trilemma. This is nuclear triangle. This is the only nuclear triangle in the world where this side is your beloved neighbor we are having here. This side, we the Indians here, and here is the Chinese. So these are the China factories here. Here is the Chinese. They are also having nuclear weapon. The Pak also having the nuclear weapons, and the India also having. So that is why all the places are meeting here. Here is the Saksam Valley. This point is what? Saksam Valley, which is Pakistan sold to China. Pakistan sold to China. This Saksam Valley. Here is what? Saksam Valley, you need to know. Operation Meghdoot. That was what? 1984. Operation Meghdoot. We captured the Siachen Glacier. We captured the what? Good evening, Lucky. we captured the what? Siachen glacier. And since then, since the 1984, we are having the Siachen glacier under us, right? Yes, it's a difficult to maintain. It's the Siachen glacier, and having the what? The northernmost point of India here is the Indra Col, and this is, you have to remember, the nuclear triangle, the nuclear trilemma, because this question they will ask you. And this time, because of the Operation Sindoor, this word wasn't hovering in the news. That was a buzzword. That was what? Buzzword. I mean, it was very frequently coming in the news, and very frequently, right? So that is why you have to also remember these words, right? It's a buzzword. So now, the Himalayan system, I have covered almost the facts of the Himalayan, the structure of the Himalayan, the upliftment of the Himalayan, why Himalaya is uplifting, as I said, because of isostatic balance, because of as I said, buoyancy force, because of melting of glacier, because of what? All these factors are responsible. See, if you will be asked कि if the height of Himalaya is increasing, then why? जैसे कि let's say एक sheep, right? Say एक sheep is floating, the sheep is floating over the ocean, right? And having some sort of I would say the loading is there. But when the loading would be unloaded, the sheep will float. The sheep will float. As the glacier over the Himalaya, they are melting very fast. That is where the height of Himalaya is rising. Because उसका ऊपर जो snow था ना, वो तो खत्म हो रहा है. तो now the pressure is releasing and it is also floating off, because Siali is floating over Sima. Because Siali is floating over Sima. बेसिक क्लास में ये सब लोग आपने भी पढ़ा होगा, सब ने पढ़ा होगा, एनसीईआरटी पे भी पढ़ा होगा कि Siali is floating over the Sima because of the density difference, because of the what? Density difference. And that is the reason. That is the what? Reason. Right. So that is the reason. So this thing you can also connect to the Himalayan factors as I mentioned, right? So okay, why the height of Himalaya is increasing, why the CBT is important, why the MBT is important, why the FBT is important, because these are the things, if you are not writing in the mains, whenever you are writing the earthquake in the Himalayan region, whenever you are writing the landslide in the Himalayan region, you have to draw these things, draw the pictures and put these words, so that main boundary fault, central boundary thrust, not fault, thrust, you can also write the fault, right? That would be also not wrong. Then frontal boundary thrust, these are the reason for the, right? You have to write it. Okay, now I will comes to the Aravalli. This is also the other important mountain, the Aravalli fast. Now I will come. Himalaya is done. I think Himalaya part is this much is enough to write the and to do the answer in the Himalaya region. Now I will comes to the Aravalli part. Right, Himalaya is almost done. I have spent substantial part, almost half an hour. Right, I have devoted half an hour for this Himalayan region. Now I should move into the Aravalli, because मतलब एक ही सेशन है भाई, एक ही इसी वीडियो में कैसे खत्म करेंगे, नहीं तो इतना टाइम अगर मैं पूरा हिमालय के अंदर घुस जाऊंगा ना, तो फिर नहीं हो पाएगा. चलो फिर अरावली पे चलते हैं. Now this one is the oldest, I would say the old fault mountain. This one is what? Old fault mountain. Basically, it starts from the border of Gujarat. That means the Aravalli passes through. The Aravalli passes through Gujarat. It passes through Rajasthan. It passes through Haryana. And Delhi. And what Delhi? So these are the one that would be UTs, and these are the states. So Aravalli passes through like this, the old fault mountain. And sometimes some people do also call this the residual mountains. This is also sometimes the people do call it the residual mountain. This mountain is very precious. Why? Because it's having the heavy metals, like the heavy minerals also there. Like Khetri is famous for the, everyone point. It might have uranium. It is having copper. It is having, I would say, some rare earth. It is also having the irons. All these some sort of, this is also, I would say, somehow the reason is for the heavy minerals, known for the heavy minerals. And it's an old fault mountain running all the way from here to here. But इसका जो height है ना, इस side, the southern part का height ज़्यादा है, and the height decreases towards the northern part. In Delhi, it is called as the Delhi Ridge. In Delhi, this is called as what? Delhi Ridge. Right, in Delhi, this is the Aravalli in Delhi is called as the Delhi Ridge. And you might have seen that picture of President House, right? So that is the President House, I would say Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is situated on the Raisina hill, and the Raisina hill also the running part of the Aravalli range, that is the Delhi Reach, and this Aravalli also serve the water divides of India, and this is also water divide of India. So in the water divides of India, you have to remember Himalaya is the part of water divide of India, this one also the part of water divides of India, Aravalli also the part of water divides of India, and Western Ghat also the water divides of India, Satpura also the water divides of India, and the Vindhya. These are the what water divides. So in the water divides of India, if you will have Western Ghat, you will have Satpura, you will have Vindhya, you will have Aravalli, you will have Himalaya. So these are the mountains, they are the what water divides of India, right? They are the parts of what water divides of India. You have to remember, because you have to write the water divides of India, because somebody needs to know that, okay, what exactly the water divides. So water divides means what? That is dividing the water to end, like the Western Ghat. Western Ghat is the what? A major water divides of India. Why? Because it is dividing the water. But that means I would say, so this like Aravalli also a water divides. So Aravalli also a water divides, runs all the way to the Haryana and the Delhi. So this is the Delhi Reach. Now this Aravalli with the highest peak is Guru Shikhar, that everybody knows that Guru Shikhar, the highest peak. Apart from that, the second highest peak is Mount Abu also there. This Aravalli, there is also mission that Save Aravalli, Green Aravalli mission, right? These are the things. There is also the salt lake, the saltiest lake, that is the Sambar lake also there. The salinity is 110, the salinity what 110, the most saline lake of India, that is also there. Now just comment me anyone, okay, why this, anyone just comment me, okay, why this region is having the salt lake, and that is almost I would say, as I said, it's the salinity is what, this much salinity. Why this? Whether this is the climatic factor or lack of river or lack of precipitations, what are the factors? All these cumulative factors will divert, all these cumulative factors, that as I said. But this region, that does not mean the Aravalli range having all the salt water lakes. They are also having some beautiful I would say what lakes, that is the freshwater lakes also there. These are the freshwater lakes are also there. So this would be the Aravalli. Then apart from that Aravalli, we will comes to the what Vindhya range. So Vindhya range is starting all the way from the Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, UP, Bihar. So see, the Vindhya range passes through, that would be Gujarat, Rajasthan, MP, UP and Bihar. Vindhya range with the highest peak, Goodwill Peak. The highest peak is what? Goodwill Peak. This question also asked by OPSC. OPSC once asked this question. And Vindhya is what? Vindhya is a as of now, see, some people do said this is the old fault mountain. कहीं कहीं आपको लिखा होगा, but somehow you can also say it's a fault mountain. It's a what? Fault mountain. It's also a fault mountain, right? Sometimes people do talk about it's not a fault mountain, but it's a what? It's a what? Fault mountain sometimes. But the Satpura is a block mountain. It's a pure block mountain. But some parts, right? I would say the Vindhya, it's like a mixer type. But like you may say it's a block mountain. Some people do say it's a block mountain. But this is a questions also arise whether this is completely block mountain or some parts is a fault mountain. So that is also a question, right? So but as of now we will go through that. It's also part of, I would say, the block mountain. It's a part of also block mountain. And the Vindhya range is known for the limestone. Carbonated rock is there. There is what? Carbonated rock. And Aravalli is known for the what? As I said, heavy minerals and the marble. The famous Jaipur marble also there. This is also there. Good evening everyone, right? That is also there. Now as I said, the Vindhya range is there, and this Vindhya range also right, as I said, the Goodwill Peak. Then here would be Satpura. The highest peak would be what? Dhupgarh. That would be what? Dhupgarh, the Panchmari. The highest peak of Panchamari. The Dhupgarh, that would be the Satpura. The highest peak of Satpura is the Dhupgarh, Panchmari. In the what? Panchmari is a block mountain. It's a pure block mountain. I'll say because Rift Valley is there. Because what? Why block mountain? Because of the Rift Valley. Because of what? Rift Valley. So that is why block mountain in this region. And the Narmada is flowing towards the west. Tapi is flowing towards the west. So Narmada and Tapi, both two rivers, they are flowing towards the west because of this rift valley. Now there was also sometimes the articles also do comes in the Indian expressions, Hindu वगैरह भी आसे कि कौन लिखा है the Narmada is the only river that has not got married. That has not got married. That means the rest of the rivers in the peninsular rivers, they are flowing towards the east. This is the only exceptional two rivers lies in this part. They are moving towards the west, making estuary, no deltas. Why? Because of the morphological condition, because of the path it flowing through. And this Narmada, right, I am not going to the river part, I will restrict myself into the mountain part. Okay, so I am not going to that. But apart from that, as I said, ki Vindhya range, this Vindhya also precious for the world, diamond. Vindhya range, there would be diamond. There is also coal, there is also, I would say, glass making materials you will have in the Vindhya range. So Vindhya also a very important part, and the number of river origins like your Chambal, Sindh, Kane, Betwa, Falgu, number of rivers also origin from this area. So that is why this is also very much important, the Vindhya range. Now next I will come to the Satpura. This Satpura is a block mountain, it's a completely block mountain. It's a part of 7 hills. It's a part of what? 7 hills like Rajpipla, Gavilgad, Mahadev, Maikala, Kaimur, Ramgarh, and the last one is your what? Rajmahal. So these are, this Satpura is comprises of 7 hills. Satpura means 7 hills. When I write that Satpura means 7 hills. Pura means hill, Sat means 7. So they are what? As I said, Rajpipla, Gavilgad, Mahadev, Maikala, Kaimur, Ramgarh, and here is your, in this part, that is what I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is Rajmahal hill, Ramgarh and Rajmahal hill. So these are the 7 hills, they together known as what? Satpura, that is the 7 hills, right? So these things are also important, you need to know. Next we will come to the Western Ghat, the most important hills and the mountains of India. The Western Ghat. The Western Ghat UPSC also asked many times. Western Ghat starts from Gujarat and ends in Kerala, or better to say in Tamil Nadu. In what? Tamil Nadu. So it passes through, the Western Ghat will passes through all the way, that means here Gujarat, Maharashtra, right, then Goa, then Karnataka, then TN, Kerala. So 6 states. It is passing through what? 6 states. These things asked UPSC कि how many questions, or sorry, how many states, through how many states it passes through, Western Ghat passes through. The Western Ghat passes through the 6 states, right? So this was the part. Now apart from that, when I say Western Ghat, the Ghat means what? It's also a, that means Ghat means what? It's a block mountain. It's a what? Again it's a block mountain. Why block mountain? Because of this western flank, because of this western flank, the western flank that submerged, that what? Submerged. So that is why that gives the rise to the apparent, I would say what? Relative height of Western Ghat increased. Due to that, the relative height of Western Ghat increased, right? Is not it? So that is why this is also important. Then the Western Ghat highest peak lies there. So Western Ghat is a what? Block mountain. 6 states. Now it will have, I would say, important mountain peaks like you will have the, it is the meeting point. The meeting point is what? That is Nilgiri region, and having the Doda Beta is the highest peak. The Doda Beta is the highest peak, Nilgiri range. Then it would be Annamalai, Agastya Malai, and Katmom. So there are the ranges are there, Nilgiri hill, then Annamalai, Agastya Malaya, Cardamom. So these are the hills are back to backs in this region. So they are what? The border between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So this is also there. Now in this part, I would say, as I say, that Agastya Malaya is having, that is the what? Annamalai hill is having Anaimudi. Anaimudi, that is almost 2 2700 meter, 2700 meter, right? It would be, yes, meter, that would be 2700 meter, the height of this Anaimudi. Then we'll have Agastya Malaya and Cardamom Hill. So Agastya Malaya and Cardamom, in between there would be Senkota Gap, and between the Nilgiri and Annamalai there would be there would be what? Palghat. There would be Palghat. You have to remember that. Then apart from that, here would be Bhorghat and Thalghat and Bhorghat, right? So Bhorghat for the Nasik and Thalghat for the Pune. So these things are also there, right? So these are also there. There would be Thalghat, there would be Bhorghat. So these things are also there. Thalghat connecting the Nasik, Bhorghat connecting the Pune. Correct me, okay? So that would be Pune. Thalghat to Nasik. So these are the also there, right? Kalsubai peak, the highest peak of Maharashtra, also there. है शॉर्ट्स पे भी देखा हुआ बहुत लोगों ने. So this is how the Western Ghat, the having highest biodiversity of India. The Western Ghat is having what? The highest biodiversity of India with the highest peak, as I said. Apart from that, Mula areas are also there. So number of peaks also there in the Karnataka region. This region is highly biodiversity region, eco-sensitive zones of India, and the biodiversity hotspot zone of India, because of some of the precious, some of the exclusive what species are found here. Let's say this is also home to the great hornbills, the Nilgiri Thar, Malabar civet also there, king cobra also there, some of the what I would say langurs, some of the unique langurs are also there. So these are the biodiversity hotspot region, right? Was one of the most important region, I would say, and the heritage as well. So this is, then comes your what? The Eastern Ghat. The Eastern Ghat is more or less in the fragmented way. Starting from Odisha, it would be what? Odisha, it will have Chhattisgarh, it will have Andhra Pradesh, it will have Karnataka, it will have TN. So Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha. So right, these are, I would say, so these are the states which is coming all the way in the Eastern Ghat, and this Eastern Ghat is highly dissected. Highly dissected, why? Because of the river, so this is what? Highly dissected. The Eastern Ghat is highly dissected because of the river, whereas the Western Ghat is a continuous way, is a what? Continuous way. The Western Ghat, the Eastern Ghat, when I compare the Eastern Ghat to Western Ghat, because this kind of question also they will ask, UPSC do ask these kind of questions. Okay, compare, you have to compare the Eastern Ghat with the Western Ghat. What is the difference? See, the Eastern Ghat is a fault mountain, this one is a block mountain. This is the parallel to the what? East coast, this is west coast. The meeting point is what? Nilgiri Hill, but this one is highly dissected. This one is highly dissected because of the river, but this one is a continuous way. इसका height ज़्यादा है, इसका height कम है, इसका height कम है. And believe that Eastern Ghat is more older than the Western Ghat. This is also a fact. And the Eastern Ghat is highly rich minerals also there. Biodiversity, this is also the indigenous peoples are living more in this front as compared to this front, indigenous people. And when it comes to the mining threatenings to the Eastern Ghat, this is also because of the mining, because of, I would say, agriculture, because of urbanizations. So these things are also threatening the existence of Eastern Ghat, and that is why this question asked UPSC, what are the challenges being faced by the Eastern Ghat? That is also a question. There is a displacement of the tribal people, there is illegal mining, there is deforestation, there is forest fire, there is depletion of the species, there is extinction of the some species as well. So these are the certain points that remains in the news. You have to pick and make a note, and then you have to transform into the answer, right? You're getting me? So that is why, so things are there, so that remains in news, they're hovering in the news. Pick it and put into the note and turn into the answer. So this is how you have to do is that. So this is how the difference of the Eastern Ghat and the Western Ghat we have talked about. Now, if somebody will ask a question to you, ki why the average height of Eastern Ghat is lower than the Western Ghat? Let's say those who are watching me, or those who will watch me later after the recording or the live session will finish. Just I am asking a simple one. why the average height of the Eastern Ghat is lower than the Western Ghat. What's exactly the reason? Why it's happened so? Anyone? Why it's happened so? This is because of the what? Dissected, because of the erosion, because of the what? I would say valleys. This is the reason that. Alright. So that would be reason. So now apart from that, so these are the mountains we have talked about. Now there is also these other, see here is the mountain, these things we have already talked about. Okay, now one thing I would say that Paripurna batch, we are also having the Paripurna batch. Those who are interested for the Paripurna batch, this batch we are having all the good faculties are here, and though the batch is started, right, you can also join. There is also, right, the batch has started, but you can join, right. Here is the code, you can use the early and to get the maximum benefits, right. So by बहुत सस्ता पे मिल रहा है, and I believe के foundation, those who are ready for the foundation, those who are in college, those who are looking for the foundation batch, then go through this one, right, this one also there. Now here is the, as I said, as I mentioned, all those Aravallis regions I have covered these things, right. Here is the some of the important peaks of the Himalayan region, though I have covered it, but once again you can have, right, once again you can have this one, like I say Kanchenjunga, Makalu, Everest, there Mansalu, Annapurna, Dholagiri is there, Nanga Parbat is there, here is the Nanga Parbat, there is K2 is there, Broad Peak is there, and I would say what, Gasser Broom is there, Gasser Broom 2 is there, then here would be your, in the Uttarakhand, Nanda Devi, then Kedarnath, Badrinath, these are also Satpond glaciers also there, Nam Chabarua that side also. So these are the peaks we have also done it. We have also done it. These are the peaks, right? These peaks we have done it earlier. Now, see, we are also having Aarambh batch, the prelims plus mains. You can use the code early to get the maximum benefits, right? This batch is going on. You can also enroll, and this batch will have definitely will get the right, as I said, जो details होता है ना, जो basic चीज होता है, that we will also cover here. As I am going through this lesson, it's a smoothly I am going through. I am not running you, not rushing you, right? So this would be like this. Now, apart from that, other mountain. Now I comes to the other mountains. Now I have talked about the Annam, that is Anaimudi. I have done the Kadamam Hill. I have done Doda Beta, Nilgiri, right? So these are the mountains I have done. Here is Gir Forest, Gir Mountain also, that the Gir Forest. These things you have to remember. So this is the what, Saurashtra region, the Gir Forest and the Gir Mountain, which is famous for the ascetic clean. So this one is also very famous. Satpura we have done it. Eastern Ghat we have done it. Now small other mountains like in Tamil Nadu, Zavedi, Sebroi, that Panchmalai, Sirumalai, Palai, and Varusnath Hill. These are the certain hills in the Tamil Nadu region. These are the small hills I am talking about. These are small hills. But sometimes in the prelims they ask you, let's say if I will ask you, ke Javedi, Sebroi, Sirumalai, Palamalai, these are the hills, whether they are the part of Eastern Ghat or the Western Ghat. Anyone could answer me, right? Anyone. So those who are watching me, whether this Javedi, Sebroi, Sirumalai, Palini, this is what Palini, Palin Hill, whether these are the part of Eastern Ghat or Western Ghat. Anyone? You might have read here and there, right? You might have gone through some sort of basic questions. If not, then as I mentioned that you have to start coaching, and through the Parham batch, I was talking about this batch, right? Aarambh is there, right? These are the part of Western Ghat. These are the what? Part of Western Ghat. So majority of the hills you have to remember that Khaskari is Palini, then Varusnath, then your Sirumalai, Panchmalai. These are the hills, they are part of the running of Western Ghat. They are the what? Running of Western Ghat. They are the running of Western Ghat. You have to remember. In Andhra Pradesh, you will have Palkonda, you will have Nagari Hill, you will have Velkonda, you will have Nallamala Hills, right? You will have Venukanunda Hills. These are the hills in the what? In the Andhra Pradesh. In the what? Andhra Pradesh. So these are the hills also important because there would have let's say this Nalamala range is very important range in this region. This side is Kurnool also there, Guntur is here, Kurnool is here, Anantapur is here, then Chittor is here. Chittor, this side is what? Chittor. So these are the reason you have to also remember, okay, these are the mountains of Andhra Pradesh, these are the mountains of Tamil Nadu, the mountains of Baba Budhan Hill. Let's say somebody will ask you Baba Budhan Hill, that would be obviously the part of Karnataka region, and that is the Nuamudi, Baba Budhan hills. These are very famous hills. These are for the iron ore production. But for the iron ore productions, yes, as Lina comment, it's a what Western Ghat part. Yes, that's the right one. Let's say if I will ask a simple question, then those hilly parts of Sri Lanka, whether it's the running of Eastern Ghat or the Western Ghat, that is also the Western Ghat. That means Sri Lanka is a what? Hilly state, is a small island country, but having the hilly regions. That hills are also the running part of Western Ghat. And Sri Lanka is connected through the what? Adams Bridge, Ram Setu जिसको हम बोलते हैं, and this is also called as the Tumbolo. In geography, we call this Tumbolo. That Ram Setu also called as what? Tumbolo. Tumbolo means what? The structure is a narrow, I would say, sandy track that connects an island with the mainland. The island is Sri Lanka, the mainland is India, and that is connecting. So that is why we will call this the Tumbolo, or we will call it the Ram Setu, or we will call this the Adams Bridge. That is also there, right? So these things are also there. So these are the hills we have discussed. Then in Odisha, what are the important hills of Odisha? We will have Guru Mahesani. In Mayurbhanj, in the Odisha, we will have Guru Mahesani, we will have Badhampad, we will have Meghasani. These hills are famous for the iron. Apart from that, in the Keonjhar region, in the Sundargarh region, we are having Garjat Hill. This Garjat Hills is coming all the way from the Chhattisgarh, and enters to Odisha, then also passes to the up to Sundargarh to Mayurbhanj. This Garjat Hill is famous for the iron ore and the heavy metals. Then we will have the Nagad Hill. There is what? There is Devmali, there is Malayagiri, there is Malyagiri, there is your what? Mahendragiri also there. There is also what? Mahendragiri. Then there is also Gandhamardhan Hill. There is also what? Your that bauxite region, famous for the bauxite region in the Kalahandi region. What? That is what I am forgetting the name. Niamgiri Hill. That is what? Niamgiri Hill also there, right? So these are the mountains also there. Then there is a Kapilas range in Dhenkanal. Kapilas range also there. There is Palhada range in Anugul. Palhada range also there in Anugul. In Odisha part, whenever I will discuss the Odisha part, the mountains of Odisha, I will also go detail into that. I will deep dive, right? I will deep dive into the mountains of the detailed part of that as well. So now the mountains, small mountains, I have also discussed in a detailed way. I have discussed the small mountains as well. So now this is all the way. Now ये तो खत्म हो जाएगा भाई इंडिया का. Now important peaks. Now comes to the important peaks. Let's say the important peaks is the saddle peaks, the highest peaks of what? Now I will comes to the important peaks. Saddle peak, the highest peak of what? Andaman and Nicobar. Shillong peak, that would be what? Shillong peak is Garo Khasi joint, it would be Khasi, it's not. In case of Garo, that would be Nokrik. Now it's Mizoram, that is what? Phang Phui. Mount Tempu, that would be Mani. Nagaland, that is Saramati. In Arunachal Pradesh, we have done Sikkim's Kanchenjunga is there. Bihar, that is Someshwar Fort. In Parshanath also there, Parshanath in Jharkhand. And then we will have Madhya Pradesh, Dhubgarh, Girna, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Guru Shikhar, we have gone it. Kalsubai, Maharashtra, we have done it. That is what? Telangana, it would be Doliguta. Goa, it would be Sonsogor. And Mulayanagiri, that is Karnataka. Anaibudi, Kerala. Dodabetta, Tamil Nadu. Armakonda, Andhra Pradesh. Devmali, Odisha. Right, these are the important peaks. Right, these are the important peaks. Done it. Nanda Devi, there is also Uttarakhand. So these are the important peaks. Devgiri also there, as you have mentioned the Devgiri. So these are the important peaks also there. Here in Uttarakhand, here you can see Satpund is there, Kamet is there, then Dhunagiri is there, Nanda Devi is there, Trisul also there. Apart from that, Kedarnath, Badrinath, all these peaks are here. Here is important peaks, like number of peaks also there. So these are the important peaks, we have done it, right? Now next we will comes. So there is also Paripurna batch, we are also running the Paripurna batch, as I said. Then I will comes to the mountains of the world. Now we will comes to the mountain of India is done. Now I will come to the mountains of world in detail, not in surface, in detail. But हाँ, हिमालय जैसे मैंने उतना डिटेल पे नहीं जाऊंगा, क्योंकि the world mountain range they would not ask you in so much of details, they will ask you in the surface, right? So that I will cover it. Okay, now Paripurna batch also there, you can also join this batch, this is also important batch. Now comes to the important mountains, the important mountains of North America. First I will go the North America, the important mountains of North America. Now how to remember that? Just imagine how to remember the mountains of North America. And this is the what? This is Cordillera, the Rockies. The most important is your Rockies mountain, which is called as the Cordillera. This is the Cordillera, the Western Cordillera. यूपीएससी ने बहुत बार पूछा है भाई, दुनिया में हर किसी एग्जाम पे इसको पूछता है कि वेस्टर्न कॉर्डिलेरा किसको बोलते हैं. कॉर्डिलेरा इज व्हाट? ए डिफरेंट माउंटेन सिस्टम, ए ग्रुप ऑफ माउंटेन सिस्टम. ध्यान से याद रखना, व्हेन आई से कॉर्डिलेरा, कॉर्डिलेरा इज ए ग्रुप ऑफ माउंटेन दैट कम्स टुगेदर, दे फॉर्म्स, मतलब इकट्ठा देखा जाता है. जैसे हिमालयन सिस्टम, वैसे एक दो सिस्टम एक जगह बहुत सारे सिस्टम अगर मिल जाएंगे ना, उसको हम बोलेंगे कॉर्डिलेरा. नॉट इट्स ए व्हाट? काल्डेरा लेक नहीं है, ये कॉर्डिलेरा है. कॉर्डिलेरा, नॉट काल्डेरा. काल्डेरा दैट इज द lake that formed due to the collapsing of the volcano, right? That would be crater, that would be caldera. This is Cordillera, Western Cordillera or Cordillera. This is also called as the Cordillera. So this is very important, the Rockies mountain. Now यहाँ पे एक चीज आपको याद करना पड़ेगा, how to remember this. If यहाँ पे बहुत सारा mountains है, right? उसको मैं बोल दूंगा, but एक चीज आप याद कर लेना, जब टाइटैनिक डूब रहा था ना, तो सारे लोग यही बोल रहे थे कि सारे लोग कस के पकड़ो, कोस्ट पे जाना है. सारे लोग कस के पकड़ो, कोस्ट पे जाना है, अर्थात सायरा नेवाडा, सारे लोग कस के पकड़ो, कैस्केड. देन कोस्ट पे जाना है, कोस्ट रेंज, कोस्ट माउंटेन, राइट? तो सारे लोग कस के पकड़ो, कोस्ट पे जाना है. इसका मतलब है सायरा नेवाडा, I mean Sierra Nevada, though here is not Sierra Nevada, Cascade Range is there. Here is Cascade Range, here is Coast Range, here is Coast Mountain. So these are the mountains. इसको shortly remember करने के लिए तरीका है कि सारे लोग कस के पकड़ो, कोस्ट पे जाना है, राइट? गुड इवनिंग विजय लक्ष्मी. तो इसको याद कर लो कि भाई जो यहाँ पे माउंटेन है ना, उसको यहाँ से पूछा है बहुत बार. रॉकीज इज ए फोल्ड माउंटेन, is a old fold mountain, almost I would say. So though this is not the oldest of America, Appalachian is the oldest mountain of America. Appalachian is the oldest mountain of America. ये Appalachian is the oldest. But देखो इसको ना, एक मिनट, so मैंने थोड़ा पिक्चर ना छोटा कर दिया, तो आप लोग को इसलिए नहीं दिख रहा है, बट यू कैन जस्ट याद कर सकते हो. as I said कि सारे लोग कस के पकड़ो, कोस्ट पे जाना है. That means Sierra Nevada. This Sierra Nevada is a small mountain here in the Rockies, just western side. It's a what? Block mountain. It's a block mountain, and that is why this question asked, right? It's a block mountain. इसको पूछा है. तो वैसे Cascade, there is Coast Mountain, there is Coast Range, there is Rockies. The highest peak of Rockies is Mount Albert. The highest peak of Rockies is Mount Albert. In the Western Cordillera, this is also called as the Western Cordillera, is a fold mountain. Then here would be Alaska Range, Brooks Range, Mackenzie Range. Three important range is that Alaska, here would be Brooks, and here would be Mackenzie. So these are the three importance. And the highest peak of North America is on the what? That would be the Alaska Range, that is Mount Denali or Mount McKinley with 6,174 meter, Mount McKinley or Mount Denali, the highest peak of whole of North America. But the highest peak of Rockies is Albert. Mount Albert. Mount Albert is the highest peak of Rockies. But overall North America is the Mount Denali or Mount McKinley in the Alaska range. In the what? Alaska range. And all this, Alaska is a fold mountain, Brooks is a fold mountain, this one, but this Sierra Nevada, Cascade, they are the block mountain. They're what? Block mountain, you have to remember. Okay. So these are the block mountains. Now we will comes to this region, the eastern part. In the eastern part, we are having what? Appalachian mountain. See, this one I have drawn, the ये जो circle देख रहे हो ना, Appalachian. This is the oldest mountain of North America, Appalachian. And इसका contemporary कौन है? Aravallis. This is the contemporary of Aravallis, and even this could be the older than Aravallis. मतलब contemporary भी आप इसको पकड़ लो कि contemporary है. And this is very famous. This Appalachian, Mount Mitchell. The highest peak is Mitchell. Mount Mitchell. The highest peak of Appalachian is Mount Mitchell. The highest peak of Appalachian is Mount Mitchell. What? That is the Mount Mitchell. But इसका ना दोनों साइड पे दो माउंटेन है, like Blue Mountain, Allegheny Mountain. इस साइड है Blue, एक छोटा सा माउंटेन है, and उसका वेस्टर्न साइड पे है Allegheny Mountain. So these are, and here is another mountain called Notte. Called what? Notte. So these are the mountains in this region, right? So mountains of North America, I have done it. That Appalachian is here, Allegheny is here, Blue Range is here, Notte Mount is here, Rockies is here, then Sierra Nevada, Cascade, Coast Range, Coast Mountains, Alaska Range, Brooks Range, Mackenzie Range. These are the mountains I have done it, right? Good evening, Sanjeev, right? So these are the mountains I have done it in this part. So these are the mountains of what? North America. Now I will come to the mountains of what? देखो इसका ना डिटेल हम नहीं जाएंगे, इसका डिटेल जरूरत है ना कि like I was going into the details of Himalaya. So this kind of detail is not required in this. Okay, one thing I will say, थोड़ा आप लोग का entertainment करवा देते हैं यार, मतलब बोरिंग भी किसको लग रहा होगा तो फिर चलो एक मिनट रुको. Where is Australia? Australia I have not given. ऑस्ट्रेलिया शायद भूल गया यार देना. अच्छा ठीक है, ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया. नाउ ऑस्ट्रेलिया माउंटेन. नाउ व्हाट आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट ये माउंटेन ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया. नाउ हाउ टू रिमेंबर द माउंटेन ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया, हाउ टू रिमेंबर द माउंटेन ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया, बोलो चलो फिर. नाउ हाउ टू रिमेंबर द माउंटेन्स ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया. द माउंटेन ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया, राइट? जैसे कि डार्लिंग हमेशा साथ रहे, दारू पी के मुस्कुराएंगे. व्हाट? डार्लिंग हमेशा साथ रहे, दारू पी के मुस्कुराएंगे. दैट इज द ट्रिक हाउ टू रिमेंबर द माउंटेन ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया. आई मीन्स दिस इज द ट्रिक. हाउ द ट्रिक्स वर्क्स? इट विल वर्क्स फॉर यू. डार्लिंग हमेशा साथ रहे, दारू पी के मुस्कुराएंगे. इट्स अ डार्लिंग रेंज. इट्स अ व्हाट? डार्लिंग रेंज. हमेशा, हमसले रेंज, हमसले रेंज. हमेशा डार्लिंग हमेशा साथ रहे, दारू पी के मुस्कुराएंगे. भाई कौन सा दारू? मैकडोनल्ड नंबर 1, मैकडोनल्ड रेंज. मुस्कुराएंगे, मूसग्रेव रेंज. व्हाट? मुस्कुराएंगे, मूसग्रेव रेंज. व्हाट? दैट इज द मूसग्रेव रेंज, राइट? दैट इज व्हाट? मूसग्रेव रेंज. नाउ भाई देखो, डार्लिंग हमेशा साथ रहे तो दारू पी के मुस्कुराएंगे. भाई कब तक मुस्कुराओगे? एक दिन आएगा डिवाइड हो जाएगा फिर. जैसे कि लाइक चाहल जैसे, ऐसे बहुत एग्जाम्पल है, मतलब राइट. तो दारू पी के मुस्कुराएंगे, बट देयर वुड बी डिवाइड मतलब अलग हो जाना. सो ग्रेट डिवाइडिंग रेंज. इट्स अ व्हाट? ग्रेट डिवाइडिंग रेंज. इट्स अ व्हाट? ग्रेट डिवाइडिंग रेंज. मैंने बोला क्या कि डार्लिंग हमेशा साथ रहे, दारू पी के मुस्कुराएंगे, लेकिन डिवाइड हो गए, फिर डिवाइड हो गया, तो ये होगा great dividing range. This is what? Great dividing range. So these are the mountains how you have to remember. The mountains of Australia. These are the what? The mountains of Australia. So this is how you have to remember. And all these mountains, they are very simple. Then apart from that you will have the grey range. ये तो देखो छोटे छोटे हो गए ना, इसको फिर now these mountains does not have that much of significance apart from these things as I have covered. So here would be there is also a blue range here, but छोटे छोटे part को हम नहीं देखेंगे, because if somebody is asking questions for the world mapping in the I would say in terms of your mountain, then why they will go for this gray range small छोटे मोटे part को तो नहीं जाएंगे. This is not Indian mapping thing. They will go dive deep into, right, hope. So that will be there. So that is why. So these are the mountain ranges are there, and these ranges particularly you have to remember this Hamersley range, Darling range, Musgrave range. They are rich of minerals. This western part of Australia, they are very rich in minerals. And recently there was a research that एक research पे पता चला that Australia is having highest iron in the world deposit, highest iron ore deposit in the world. Australia is having high. अभी एक discover हुआ है in this western part of Australia that one of the largest iron deposit ore यहाँ पे मिला है. So that is why all the heavy metals, this region of Australia is having so much of iron ore, right? So these are the important mountains of Australia. So hope that this would be fine to you. So that means to remember the mountains of this region, the mountains of this region of the Australia. There is a grey range. There is also Fielder's range, right? Fielder's range. So these are the, भाई यहाँ पे क्रिकेट बहुत खेलते तो Fielder's range भी है, चलो है तो है. So right. So these are the. Good evening once again. Lucky, Lina is there, Sanjeev also there, right? तो ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया का माउंटेन हमने देख लिया. Now we will come. So North America mountains I have done it. I have done the mountains of what? Australia. Now comes to the mountains of what? South America. Come to this region. Now the world longest mountain is here. The world longest mountain is here, and that is none other than the Andes. It's what? The Great Andes. The Andes range. This is what? The Andes range. The Andes range, the longest range in the world. This is from the north to south. This is this Andes range, the longest mountain range in the world, right? This is what? The longest mountain range in the world. With and after Himalaya, अगर दुनिया में कहीं पे सबसे ज़्यादा माउंटेन पीक है, मतलब ज़्यादा नहीं, सबसे बड़ा माउंटेन पीक है, that to be the Mount Aconcagua beyond Himalayan system. What I said? Beyond Himalayan system. अगर हिमालय के बाद, अगर काराकोरम को बाद कहीं पे सबसे ज़्यादा मतलब ऊंचाई वाला पीक्स दिखेगा, if there would be the tallest peak beyond the Asian continent or the Indian subcontinent you may say, then it would be the what? आप सबको पता है the highest peak of Andes, that is Mount Aconcagua. That is also Ojos del Salto. There is also Chimborazo, Cotopaxi also there. These are also the volcanic mountains in this region. What they ask you, they will ask you first Andes is there. Is a fold mountain? Yes. Is a young mountain? Yes. So Andes is fold mountain, then yes. Whether it's a Alps, yes. Alps means what? Young, yes. It's a young mountain. It's a fold mountain. ये टेक्टोनिक प्लेट टेक्टोनिक के वजह से बना है, बिल्कुल बना है because of the subduction of the what? That is the your Nazca plate, because of the subduction of the Nazca plate, and that is why here is the longest oceanic trench also there, Peru-Chile trench, longest ocean trench also there. In the oceanography in the paid class I have done it. Yes, I have done it, this one, right? Now apart from that you will have Ojos del Salto. Then here is what? Chimborazo, Cotopaxi in what? Ecuador. In Ecuador, Chimborazo and Cotopaxi. These two are very important. What? Again, I would say these two are very important. That Chimborazo and Cotopaxi. This Cotopaxi. This is what? Not Cotopaxi. It's a Cotopaxi. This one very important. This Cotopaxi is an active volcano. They will ask you, is it an active volcano? Yes, they are active volcano, right? So this is also there. And देखो मैं लेक वगैरह पे नहीं जा रहा हूँ. I am only going through the mountain, right? Here would be Guiana Highland and there is the Brazilian Highlands. तो यहाँ पे बहुत आयरन दिखता है आपको, Brazilian Highland in this region, right? So these are the mountains of in this part. सो आपको याद क्या रखना है, दैट इज Aconcagua, Ojos del Salto, द सेकंड हाईएस्ट पिक Ojos del Salto. Aconcagua कहाँ पे, अर्जेंटीना. इन व्हाट, अर्जेंटीना. इट्स अ यंग फुल माउंट, यस. Chimborazo Cotopaxi, Ecuador, that is in Ecuador. You have to remember like this, because either they will ask you the peak, or they will ask you the mountain, or they will ask you what is the orientation, whether this is a fold mountain, whether this is a block mountain, where does exactly, how many countries it passes through, यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक कितना कंट्री है, राइट. तो वैसे भी आपको पूछ सकता है, तो उसको थोड़ा बहुत बस जनरल अवेयरनेस होना चाहिए, ज़्यादा डिटेल पे नहीं जाना चाहिए, राइट. तो दैट वुड बी एनफ, मेरे हिसाब से उतना काफ़ी हो जाएगा, राइट. देन हम चलेंगे फिर, एंड ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया वाला हमने डन कर दिया. नाउ सम ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट माउंटेन्स ऑफ द एशिया. नाउ अफ्रीका आई हैव नॉट डन साइड, ओके, आई विल कम्स टू द अफ्रीका पार्ट एज वेल. नाउ कम्स टू द, in Iran there is two important mountain, that is Elbrus and Zagros. This thing you have to very important, Elbrus and Zagros, two important mountain in Iran, Elbrus and Zagros. There is Anatolian Plateau, Ponticus and Taurus. There is what, Ponticus and Taurus in Turkey. In Turkey there is two mountain, Ponticus and Taurus. In Iran, Elbrus and Zagros. You have to remember mountains I am talking about. एंड हिमालय पार्ट, ये पार्ट तो हमने देख लिया, राइट. इन चाइना व्हाट वुड बी तियानसा. इन चाइना व्हाट आर द माउंटेन्स, तियानसा, ऑल्तुनसा, अल्ताइसा, देन इट विल बी काराकोरम आल्सो सर्टेन पार्ट्स, राइट. तियानसा, ऑल्तुनसा, अल्ताइसा, राइट. दिस आर द माउंटेन, आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा. दिस आर द राइट माउंटेन्स. हियर इज अल्ताई माउंटेन, this one also there, right. So these are the mountains in the China. Then when it comes to the Russia, there is Sikhot range, there is Stanvoy range, there is Verkhoyansk range, right. Kolyma range, here would be your Kolyma range. This is Kolyma range is very important. This is region Siberia, eastern Siberia, Kolyma range, Verkhoyansk range, Stanvoy range, Sikhot range, right. These are the mountain range also important, right. So these are the some important mountain range in this region. Apart from that, you will have what, that is Ural range. Here is the Ural range, one of the world fold mountain, the world probably regarded as the oldest old fold mountain. So Ural range also there. So these are the mountains. Here as I say, Elbrus, Zagros, Ponticus, Taurus, Ural, Altunsa, Altaisa, Tiansa, कुल्लून सा, ये सब